All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Disaster Class. Today, we are going to be reviewing. What are we reviewing, Wesley?
Oh, Lego Fortnite, Jason. I
Lego
can't wait.
Fortnite. We're going to be talking about Lego Fortnite. We're going to be seeing
Yes.
about some of the different survival skills and kind of how it relates to the survival preparedness world. So, it's going to be a
Yep.
fun episode. So, when we come back, Lego Fortnite. This episode of Disaster Class is brought to you by Safer Escape. When a fire happens, seconds count. The Modum retractable fire escape ladder was designed with safety in mind and is always ready when you need it most. It's easy to use, affordable, and dependable. Don't leave your family's safety to chance. Visit saferescape.com to get a free quote and free shipping off your first order when you mention Disaster Class. Visit saferescape.com today or call 725-2ESCAPE. That's 725-2ESCAPE. All right, and welcome back to another episode of Disaster Class. Wesley, you know what the bell means.
Oh, class is now in session.
Class is in session. So, as we talked about a little bit already, so we're going to be talking about Lego Fortnite today.
Yeah.
So, um, new gaming sensation. A lot of people are
Yep.
getting into it, and we're going to
Yeah.
be talking about how we can use it as a resource for survival gameplay and teaching survival principles, and how it compares to our minimum survival standard that we
Yep.
teach in our community emergency planning class. So, maybe just as a little, I guess, review, Wesley,
Yeah. A
let's
little
remind our
background.
listeners what is the minimum survival standard?
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. We love the minimum survival standard here at Instinct Ready Emergency Management. It is a published series of guidelines so that uh, specifically talk to preparation and disaster kits, right? So whether you have a shelter in place kit or you have an evacuation kit like a go bag, because we consistently have been hearing from people, what should be in my bag? What should be in my
Right.
bag? What should be in my bag? So the minimum survival standard is designed to set a standard. So there is some standardization because without standardization, what we have found is you can buy anything that's labeled a go bag or an emergency preparedness bag. And what one bag versus another bag has is it can be vastly different,
Mm-hmm.
bordering on the part where you could even think it could be dangerous because someone could think, oh, I'm buying a go bag, I have everything I need. Sometimes it's not further from the truth, right?
Right.
So this minimum survival standard outlines the basic supplies and equipment that you will need to keep in your go bag or shelter in place kit to sustain one individual, right? One individual, that's the focus. And these standards are based on current research and guidance from industry leaders such as FEMA, Red Cross, CDC, outdoor camping and survival experts. All of those individuals have helped us compile what the standard should be. But that kind of answers the question, kind of a little bit, Jason, but why a standard is needed. So why do you think, based on what I've said, but
Yeah.
even more so, why is a standard needed, do you think?
Well, you touched on it a little bit, and it's there. Well, currently there is no standard
Yeah.
other than this. So right, and so the issue is anyone can create a go bag,
Hmm.
market it as a go bag, put a bunch of random survival stuff in it, and call it good. But what does someone actually need? What are the necessary tools, pieces of equipment, components for it to, you know, be effective, right? Because we don't want to be sending people out there and during a disaster, then they come to find out they don't have what they need.
Yep.
So there's inconsistent guidance, inconsistent approaches when it comes to go bags and disaster kits in general. So that's why we worked hard to try to create what should be the standard because there should be right.
Yeah.
Many industries there are standard safety standards,
Of course.
and
Yep.
this should be no different.
Yeah. So a little bit of background. I think our viewers know now that Jason and I both are emergency responders, professional emergency responders. We work EMS agencies. So we know, like for me, I live in Connecticut and I work in Connecticut. So in the state of Connecticut, for something to be called an ambulance, There's a standard, right? There's a very set, just like when you go and get your car, right, checked, you have to maintain a certain standard registration, right? Same thing with ambulance, but with an ambulance it's different. It will tell us literally the minimum standard. There have to be this many 4x4 bandages, this much gauze. There are very specific standards for every single piece of equipment that we have to have. There's a standardization so that they know any vehicle that is classified as an ambulance has met these requirements. The same approach is what we
Mhm.
did with a bag. What should be in it? And the reason it's really important also is, as Jason mentioned, different organizations offer differing information. You could go to FEMA and you could go to Red Cross, and you think they might be the leaders in what should be in a preparedness bag. They both sometimes say different things for different categories. So even in there's no standardization between huge organizations, FEMA and Red Cross. And it's no fault of their own. Each one is just trying to do best by the individuals. But that's why the standardization approach to us is what's important. And we always say, Jason, what is the best go bag you could have?
The one you build yourself that meets the minimum survival standard.
That's it. Build it yourself, right? That's
Mhm.
that's always going to be the best bag because you'll be intimately, you know, you know, you'll know all of the components of it on an intimate level because you have put those things in there, right? So that's the best thing, but you do need to meet the minimum survival standard. So,
Yeah.
Jason, I think we're just going to go
And
through
well,
the eight and talk about it a little bit.
we've talked about them, I think we've kind of talked about some of
Okay.
these things in the past, so we don't need to to beat them over the
Belabor it.
head
Okay.
with
So
it.
the different
But
components of
but
it:
yeah,
water,
maybe just a brief
food,
overview. Yeah.
yeah, water, food, clothing, shelter, communications, navigation, health and hygiene, tools and sustainability, and then special considerations as the
Yeah.
eighth component that should be addressed. So when you're putting a kit together, you have to have all of those things in it. And I think this is a little bit of a fun conversation, especially for the emergency management folks here. We also took that and we kind of based it off the community lifelines.
Yeah.
Jason, you want to speak a little bit to the community
Sure. Yeah.
lifelines?
So, and the reason why we have these categories that Wesley just kind of quickly ran over, right, is because so within our communities, FEMA has defined what are called community lifelines, right? These are essential functions within a community um, that need to function for the community to function, right? So we think about safety and security, food, hydration, shelter, health and medical systems, energy, communications, transportations. There's hazardous materials, and then water systems. So all of these different components working, being cared for, have basically helped to the community to operate, right? All communities rely on these things. But now, when a hazard comes in, a disaster comes in and takes out one of these lifelines, well, now we have to we have
Right,
to basically overcome that, right? So if energy is taken out, well, now we have to work figure out how we can operate without energy. And of course, the goal of the community is to restore that lifeline as soon as possible. But on the individual level, right, how do we function when we have no energy, right? When the power goes out. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about now. Um, it's going to be kind of fun because now in Lego Fortnite, it's kind of a survival kind of simulation type thing where you're kind of in the woods and you need to find resources now where you don't have access to these lifelines.
right,
How do you now survive? So that's
right.
kind of what we're going to talk about now.
Yeah, so what I've loved about this is I'd always wanted to get into the other game that this is based off of, Minecraft. I'd always been thinking about it because I realize individuals play it like in a sandbox mode, but they play it in the survival mode where there are individuals that have like long streaks of 5,000 days without dying, right? To
Mhm.
be able to do that in Minecraft, it takes some skill. And I've been wanting to get into that because I've been increasing my gaming a little bit and I wanted to create a way to have more community engagement with even our listeners here on DisasterClass. When Lego Fortnite dropped, I was like, all right, I got to get in on this. And I've been spending a lot of hours. We don't need to talk about how many hours. Stop, Jason. Don't. That's not what's
I want to know how many hours you've
engagement.
logged on Lego
Jason, we
Fortnite.
all want to know. I want to know. I have no idea. There's no counter. Thankfully, that's irrelevant.
Too bad you're
Spend
not
some
playing it
time.
on Switch because then I could actually know if you
Right. I'm
that
not.
kind of
I'm
stuff.
not. I'm not. I'm not streaming on Twitch yet. I'm thinking about it. I gotta log in. I don't know. We'll see. But for right now, I've thoroughly been enjoying the game, and there is a lot of actual value, and I'm impressed with some of the gameplay that they've engineered into it and the way they've gone about it. Because there are certain components of the minimum survival standard that you have to consistently and continually address as if you would in real life, right? So again, the concept, like Jason said, you're dropped in a world and you have to survive. And the goal of the game is to create a village and get that village up to level 10. And then almost everybody starts in what's called the grasslands biome. And then you normally move to the dry valley biome, which is desert. So the conditions change, and you have to bring resources with you to start another village there and try to bring that up to level 10. And then the last biome, which is probably the most arduous, the most difficult one to traverse, is the cold weather, the winter biome, right? It's frost, it's cold, things are difficult, everything hurts more. So they've imitated life pretty well in some of the characteristics of each of the biomes, and then to build that village up to level 10. So it takes a lot of gameplay, and like there are certain resources that you can only get in one biome or the other, and you need them to progress. So you have to go back and forth, but you can't necessarily stay there yet because you're not built up yet. So there's a lot of fun to it. So we've been playing, created a login specifically for GoBagWesley, my old moniker before I joined Instinct, before we created Instinct Ready, right? But it's still alive and kicking, and that's kind of what I use as a personal outreach for community now. I've been doing some go bag parties at home where people will invite me over to talk about, bring their stuff. I bring my personal kit, I show them what I've got. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, so we're gonna get into some of the gameplay here. Jason, are you logged in? Because we can play duos.
Yeah. So yeah, let's log in and give you a little overview of the
Yeah,
some of the
just of
gameplay here.
yeah, how it happens, how it's how it's played. Oh, there he is.
So as we're
Yeah.
logging in, and we're going to kind of give them a little overview of the gameplay. But what are some of the maybe potential uses? Right. I mean, it's a game,
Mm-hmm.
right?
It's a game,
So, but
100%.
what are maybe some practical things we can do with it?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
great question. So I think one of the biggest things we talked about before we came on air, and we were talking about this episode and how we were going to be presenting this to folks. One of the coolest things is I think parents can utilize this with their children. So you're in here and you're playing, and it is a game, but there are a lot of concepts that you're able to help them understand and reinforce through the gameplay that could be extremely valuable. And when you're talking about gathering, so one thing we didn't even mention yet, so your inventory, the things that you're carrying that you have on you, when you lose that, when you die, you lose it, and it's called your backpack. Like that's how Legos call it. It's called your backpack. So that's your go bag. So these are inventory components inside of your go bag, inside of your backpack, and you have to manage it. You only have so much space, right? Your inventory is only so big.
Right.
You have to be able to categorize. You want to keep it organized. There are certain things that you want to do, like in the game, that can actually transfer to concepts in real life. Like for me, every time I go on an expedition, if you guys are looking at my screen now, you see that we have my inventory. I always keep my food up top. I keep my tools at the bottom. For some reason, I keep my arrows over here just so I can have that separated from everything else. And then I always maintain enough space in here for whatever expedition I'm doing so I can add those items to my inventory. And then I can bring them back safely to my village, right? So I always have the same thing: food up top, tools on the bottom. I always have my one slot for wood, one slot for granite. Max of those is each 50, so I try to keep those as full as possible because why not? You're going to need to build when you get inside caves to reach different resources, and then you're going to want to bring resources back with you. So that's kind of how I keep my personal go bag organized, if you will. And we're
Well,
going to
you're
be
a little
sharing some of this.
OCD too, so.
I am. So okay, that's all right. Now, so you see this? What I see? What I built? See, this is my new crib.
Was this the world we were playing in before?
Oh yes, sir. I've been spending a
Okay,
little time.
you've been busy.
It's up to a level 9 village already. I think when you left, it was a level 4.
Yeah,
So I've been busy. So my
obviously.
bed is here now.
So I think this is a clear indication already to our listeners as far as who plays more.
This is research. It is no longer called playing. This is research for the podcast. I do this for the benefit of our listeners. Right? That's why I do this.
Wesley just wants a job where he can, just play video games. I
Play
mean,
video
that's
games
the
and get
dream,
paid for it.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. So here's something cool. Initially, when you first started playing, you weren't able to stack items this well and this neat. And actually, this little think it's a 2x6 piece that was not even there. That only came in a later update, so you can stack your chests nice and neat. And I try to keep them organized. They're not super organized now. They will be. I try to organize them by biome. So I know if I need something from the cold weather, I can have that in one certain area. So all of this is real life stuff, right? So this here is a shelter at home solution, right? So I can have larger quantities because I don't have to carry them, and they can be in big, heavy cases because I don't have to manage them on my back, right?
Right.
So this is the shelter at home.
So practical, right? It's
Oh yeah,
having your in terms of real life, having your shelter in place kit,
yep,
your little chests or boxes with all of your stuff in there.
yep.
So now walk us
Ceiling, I have
through
granite and wood. So yeah, so this is the village. So everyone's village is going to look different, but you've got your village center here. You have to place that. That's an item that needs to be placed. And then here you can see what you need to do to upgrade. You get your tasks. You can also see how many villagers you have right now. We've got 4 villagers. We've got one more spot. It's not unlocked. It won't be unlocked until we get to level 10. That's when it will be unlocked, and that'll be the max. You'll have 5 villagers in your village, and then what I try to do is have each villager working on a task. So we see Peely here. I kind of went up to him quick, but you see the green check. That means he's worked on his task and he has something to deliver. I have him cooking food. Actually, you probably need this stuff more than me, Jason. I don't know what you have in your kit, but if you want to go to him and talk to him and then say, how's your job? And then you can take all of the food items from him. Oh, I never realized that. You can't talk to him at the same time.
Nice.
It does make sense. Right?
So let's maybe just kind of keeping this on task here. So because we talked a little bit about the minimum survival standard, community lifeline. So what are the connections here? What are
really cool
to teach some of these lessons using this game?
Yeah, great question. So with our minimum survival standard, water and food are at the top, right? Now, the one, if I were to make not a complaint, but there's really no way to do it and make it fun. The one component they don't directly correlate to is water, right? They don't have your character getting thirsty and having to drink water, and then their cognitive abilities being impaired because of the lack of water, right? That's not going to make for real fun gameplay. But what they did do, and I feel an exceptional job of, if you look in the top left corner, you see your character, and then you see the green kind of broken dash around. That's your hunger meter. And that is constantly dropping when you're active. And I've tested this, for science and for the people. If I don't play, if I don't move, my hunger doesn't move. But the minute I start getting engaged in something like running circles around somebody, like DisasterMasterJ is doing there, quite lovely.
Oh man,
and burning yourself. Hey, man,
just burned myself in the fire. That's
I heard you get singed there. So as you do that, you have to replace that, and the hunger is replaced by eating food. And I will say this: the amount of food that they have you consume, and like the fact that a lot of the food is plant and vegetable based. In real life, if you were eating that much food, your water content would most likely be getting satisfied as well. So kudos to them. The food and water. I just ate a pumpkin and you saw my meter go up quite a bit. I'll eat some more to finish it up and max it out completely. Boom. Now it's maxed out completely. So that's the food and the water, and they've done a really good job with that. Now with clothing, you can change your skins because it's Fortnite, but the skins give you no tactical advantage whatsoever in this game. But what does help is if you go to your inventory, you can see your equipment. I've got these cool-headed charms. These charms to me are very akin to the clothing, because when I go to the warm weather area, I need cooler charms, cooler clothing, so that I don't overheat. And when you overheat, it affects your performance, it affects your health, it affects the hearts that you have. It can actually hurt you, and you can expire as a result of that. And then when you go to the cold biome, you can have warm fire charms that keep you warm. Like I think of these literally like putting on a large coat, keeping yourself warm so you can be productive in a cold weather environment. So that's a direct correlation to clothing. Shelter, that's an easy one. You saw the place where I'm living. So this is what Jason built for himself. I think it's called a cabin shed or a log shed. He can shut the door. He has his bed. He's got a chest. Oh, you got some stuff in there. I've
Don't
never
go through
actually
my
looked through your
stuff.
chest before. I hadn't. I didn't even know you had milk in there. I was looking for milk earlier. But you got this funky tree growing in here too. You
Yeah, I don't know why that's there.
Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, so if you do not in this game have something over your head, when it rains, you will get wet. If you don't have a fire source, you will get cold. You will shiver. So it shows that you need a shelter. Also, what they have in this gameplay, I love the engine of this. They have weather, and they'll have lightning storms, and the lightning will actually strike you and do damage to you if you don't have something overhead. And when it starts to thunder and lightning, all of the village people get like weirded out. They're like, "Oh no, we can't talk. You can't converse with them." They're like, "We have to get out of this storm," and they have to get into a place of shelter. And if you don't have any place of shelter, it's going to be a very difficult time for you during that. So again, that directly correlates to shelter in, I think, an absolutely perfect way that is still fun for gameplay. So I think they've done a really good job. Yeah, they've done a really good job with some of these things. Communication and navigation. Yeah, you have a map. When you go to your inventory, there's a map, and that map shows you, and I'm just zooming out here. I have a marking system for the caves. I won't get into that because Jason's going to keep calling me OCD. And then here you see the little footpaths. I built a bridge across the water there, so I know where to cross. And then in different biomes, you can see the areas that I've traversed and the caves that I have found, and some of them I've already done some expeditions to. But yeah, so you have a map, and it shows you a little bit of the topography as well. It can show you height. It's a pretty detailed map, and that's highly important to have so that you can have your communications and navigation, right? So that's one of the minimum survival standards, making sure you have something for navigation. And they do. They've got that included in the map. After that, let's see, what is there? There's tools.
So just on that, one of the things I did like, because like when it gets dark and you create a campfire, you can see, like if you're off in the woods, you can kind of see the glow in the smoke. So, you know, like if you're lost and you're playing with someone, you could like set up a fire and smoke signals.
Yeah, absolutely, right?
That like that. So I just thought that's pretty cool.
No, it is. And yeah, they put so much into this game with different options.
And and it is a lot like Minecraft. Like I was a big Minecraft.
Yeah, I never got into Minecraft,
but I love the graphics. It's like Minecraft in so many ways, but a lot more visually appealing, which is really cool. So yeah,
really, really cool.
So in case you haven't noticed, Wesley is a big fan of Lego Fortnite.
I've played a little.
So critics review Wesley, I mean, 2 thumbs up, 5 stars.
Oh, absolutely. 5 stars, 2 thumbs up. Fortnite's done a great job putting this together. The game, and it, like, the thing about it that's really crazy that you only know probably after you spend a lot of hours in it is there are so many different worlds that all have their own characteristics.
Yeah.
This one is very fortunate. If you see, we're in the grasslands biome now, and right there I can see the winter biome, which is really nice to have close. And over here I can see the desert biome, dry valley. So it's like we're right in the middle. Test out your
skills in those different biomes.
Yeah, but it's nice to have them close. Like in one of the worlds, one of the seeds that I had, it literally took me, and I timed it, 8 to 9 minute walk in one direction to find the desert biome. Like, and I didn't even know where it was or what I was looking for. I was like the very first world that I ever spawned into. So it's nice to have all the biomes really close. I hear there's a really challenging biome out there where you spawn in grasslands, but you are completely surrounded by the frostlands biome, which is tough because you're not going to be able to get through that for quite a while into the gameplay.
Right.
So if you want a super challenge, you can do that. So lots of good stuff.
So pretty cool. So you've got something kind of cool and special for our fellow gamers out there. So if you're listening and you're into gaming, you want to try some Lego and it's free, right, Wesley? Like Lego
Fortnite, you do not have to spend money to play this
game. So that's cool. It's family friendly, it's free. And Wesley's got something kind of cool.
So what we're going to do is part of our community preparedness and engagement approach. Jason and I have each created accounts on here. I am GoBagWesley. That is my username. We are offering to our viewers to reach out, friend me. I would love to play this game with some of our viewers, and we'll spend some time in a world. We can create a new world. You can bring me into one of the worlds that you're working on. I'm by no means an expert, but I have a few hours of gameplay behind me. Yeah, so we are looking forward to the opportunity to play with some of our viewers and our listeners, to interact with you guys on this level in the game. And this goes in connection with one of the offers that we've made before. Um, let's play. Let's spend some time together doing some stuff in this virtual game world. But then in real life, again, you can reach out, and I would love to look at your personal stuff. I'd love to look at your personal kit, your personal go bag, what your approach is to your shelter in place for your home. We've got recommendations that might be able to help you across the board. And I love spending time. The more and more, it's not that we're getting big. It's not that we're getting huge by any means. We're still very, very small with our podcast, but quite a few of you have reached out quite a bit, and we love that. And we want to lean into it. So one of my goals for Instinct Ready Emergency Management moving forward this year is community preparedness and engagement. I'm the person that is responsible for connecting with people on a one-to-one basis in our community. So I'm looking forward to doing that with you guys through this game and through whatever else we come up with in the future. So, yeah, Jason, did I miss anything?
No, I think that's it. So we'll, I guess we'll put it in the notes in the description on how our usernames, and if you want to reach out to us, how you can connect with us and play some games, and we can talk preparedness as we do. So that should be fun.
Yeah, that's
cool.
it.
So yeah, I think that
stuff.
that wraps it up. So go check out Lego Fortnite. Like I said, it's free, family friendly. You can do some cool survival gameplay. So it's pretty fun. So. But yeah, I think that concludes this episode of Disaster Class, right, Wesley?
Yeah, but there's always homework,
There
right?
is
So we're hoping that you guys
homework.
like, subscribe to Disaster Class, leave us a 5-star rating, give us a thumbs up, and please comment about something you learned, whether it's the minimum survival standard that we talked about, whether it's the community lifelines from FEMA, whether it's Lego Fortnite, whether it's Minecraft. I don't know a ton of Minecraft, but Jason has a robust history of Minecraft as well. So please let us know what you appreciated, what you thought. If you think there's something we could tweak, do something a little better, we're always here for that as well. The constructive, we like that. But there's also interactive homework, as we mentioned. Your opportunity to engage directly with us, your disaster class hosts. So come play with us. Lego Fortnite usernames: GoBagWesley, all one word, and DisasterMasterJ for Jason. Friend us. Let's build some communities together.
And if there's any other like survival based games that we should be playing,
Yeah,
because we do like to play some games. So if you have any other suggestions, other games we should check out, we want to hear about it, and so we can maybe do an episode on that.
Yeah, we would love it.
But as always, yeah, if you have anything that you want to share with us, you can reach out to us, send us a message on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, or send us an email at disasterclass@instinctready.com. And doing so will be put you in the running to be featured on the show and win some cool prizes. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in to Disaster Class. Stay educated.
Stay prepared.
Stay equipped.
Yes. Class dismissed.
Class dismissed.